So, dear devotees, it's 7:31 Italy time, 6:31 London time, and Devashish Prabhu is looking very pakka with his blue kurta and his chadar with a blue stripe matching. Very thoughtful, Devashish Prabhu. Now I know you're a married man. As Ishanuga kept you with matching clothing, right? Hare Krishna. All right, dear devotees, today we have a very wonderful topic again by Devashish Prabhu, and that topic is the Vaishnava is all in all, and I am nothing. So that certainly applies from the realized world of trying to be a devotee, we can consider. All right, Rasananda Prabhu, giving Dandavat Dana, K, and Kittida. So to all of you who joined us just now, our humble obeisances, and let us begin. Oh, I'm not the host. Anyway, I'm not the host, but let us begin with Vandeham, Omagyan, Namo Mahavaranyaya, and Vanchakalpatarubhishcha to all of the assembled devotees and all the devotees. So many of you know these. Bandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tang Sajivam Sarvetam Savarutam Parijana Sahitan Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Anmilitam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Mahavaranyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Goratuje Namaha. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Via Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Garadhara Srivas Adi Shri Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we have come to London, and we're happy to have as our host Devashish Prabhu, and from London we also see Ananda Swarupini Didi, and Saraswati Devi Dasi we also see in London, and Rasamai, maybe. Which Rasamoi? I think this may be Rasamoi Brazil, because now we have Rasamoi in Brazil. Is where something jumped on my screen and I can't see. Where did Rasamoi come to? I lost. Oh no, she said, but something jumped. Okay, dear devotees, here we are, and we have Malati Priya from Brazil. We have devotees from South Africa, from Sweden, from Norway, from Ukraine, from USA, and from Italy, from Latvia, from Florida. And so we got lots of devotees here with us. And Russia also. Annapurna Devidasi and her son, Madhusudan. Hare Krishna. So, Devashish Prabhu, please, over to you, and you can begin. And we do have Saraswati. She's often running around doing lots of things, one person with many responsibilities, but she's actually seated peacefully at this moment. It may be a good time to invite her to say a few words, Devashish Prabhu, but I'm passing over the emceeing to your good self. Microphone, Prabhu, microphone.
Right, they unmuted me. So you can hear me okay?
Yes, for loud and clear, happily.
Okay. So, first of all, I just want to apologize. I'm not feeling 100% this evening, but I didn't want to miss it again. So here I am. But forgive me if my participation may be a little minimal. But so yes, so I'll just prepared to read something this evening. So just from this quote itself. This quote actually is from Srila Sridhar Maharaj, directly his words. So that's why you'll see there in inverted commas. But so I just want to read that, and then after that, maybe Saraswati Didi could say a few words. So prepare yourself, Saraswati Didi. Don't run away. So the Vaishnava is all in all, and I am nothing. Such a feeling grows infinitely in the Vaishnava. I am nothing, but he is everything. He is a Vaishnava. Guru and Vaishnava really hold Krishna Bhakti. They are the stockists, but I am empty-handed. I have nothing. This is the nature of the association of the finite with the infinite. As much as we shall have a real approach towards the infinite, we cannot but consider ourselves to be the meanest of the mean. The standard of Vaishnava qualification, Vaishnavata, is measured in this way, and this is not lip deep, but the sincere dealing of the innermost heart. When Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Purishera kita hoite, muri se lagista, I am lower than the worm in stool, this is not mere imitation, but his heartfelt truth. Acharya Abhiman, the assertion of the Guru over the disciple, is a different posture. That is assertion, but only for the service of the Vaishnava. The sincerity is maintained therein. The Guru's assertion is not selfish assertion. His assertion is only for the sake of saving the public and upholding the prestige of the Vaishnava. So this is proper adjustment with reality, in twofold senses, to establish the real position of a Vaishnava and at the same time to save the ordinary person from the danger and the reaction of a false attempt or false thought. Excuse me. So that kind of assertion is not egoistic. Rather, we should know that as sacrifice, or we should know that as sacrifice in the dynamic sense. In Vishwa Vaishnava Raj Shabha, our Guru Maharaj tactfully managed in this way. He asked one of his disciples to speak something in praise and appreciation of another disciple, and he especially asked this of disciples who were a little antagonistic to one another. He asked them, speak something in praise of your friend. Why? To try to mark the bright side, the swarup, and to try to ignore the apparent side. He instructed, you try to speak something in praise of your friend, your apparent opponent. The Guru's order was given, and so the disciple had to speak something in praise. Necessity is the mother of invention. He had to dive deep into the bright side of the other person and try to bring that side out. Thereby, the Vaishnava atmosphere of giving and taking was aroused, and the apparent Mayic side was gradually ignored, disregarded, and dissipated. Something similar happens in Kirtan as well. Why is Kirtan so powerful? Because when we are requested to speak something, we cannot but utilize our best attention to speak. We have to assert our best ability in the attempt to gather the proper information to speak something about the Supreme Lord. So also in the case of the Vaishnava, As in the case of the Lord, we must approach the Swarup, the inner side, the inner aspect, the bright side, and ignore the apparent side, and thereby we will thrive. There, the real mutual relationship will be aroused. Once a year in the holy Dham of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it was the practice of our Guru Maharaj to preside in a meeting under the banner of the Vishva Vaishnava Raj Sabha, the universal assembly of the topmost pure devotees. And there his method was such: try to praise the Vaishnava. So to appreciate the nobility of a Vaishnava may be difficult, but if we can do so, we may have a chance to reach a standard of real devotion to a certain extent. It is said by the Lord in the Adi Purana, one who loves me does not really love me, but one who loves my servitors, his love for me is more real. It is true and of absolute character. We must try to appreciate the character and conduct of the Vaishnava, and thereby we can raise the standard of our own life of dedication. So this chapter goes on somewhat. I mean, say it's the beginning, only the beginning of the chapter, but I think just that extract is very helpful for us to understand this. And two things I wanted to kind of mention in regard to this. One is that when Guru Maharaj says the Vaishnava is everything and I am nothing, it doesn't mean that we're advocating that we develop some kind of like self-hatred for ourselves or something like that, but rather we're just trying to awaken our perception of ourselves in reality. It is reality, you know, that our ego makes us think that we're very important, and you know that's bolstered by so much propaganda in the world. You know, so many advertising slogans. You know, we all know because you're worth it. You know, all these things, they're just meant to boost your ego and thereby sell you something. But actually, the reality is that when you come in connection with something really transcendent, something from the plane of reality, you cannot but think yourself to be very insignificant in relation to that. And thereby our ego is dissipated. And yes, we may think ourselves to be something rotten, because Srila Guru Maharaj says, if once you meet your own self, your real self, your golden self, the noble self within you, that's actually who you really are, you must feel ashamed to think that I had such an awful, low, mean conception of who I am. So, you know, then real humility doesn't mean to think less of yourself, but rather it means to think about yourself less, if you can understand the difference. So we're always thinking about ourselves, but if we have humility, then we won't have so much time or necessity to think about ourselves, but rather to think about our masters and the Vaishnavas and Krishna and all of these things. We want to think about that more, and that necessarily means that we must try to see ourselves in reality, not as our ego tells us, but rather as we understand reality. So, you know, Srila Goswami Maharaj, he asked Guru Maharaj about this proclamation of Krishnadas Kaviraj, saying, you know, I'm lower than the worm in stool. Anyone who says my name, all their piety will just run away from them. And I'm more fallen than Jagai and Madai. And Goswami Maharaj said to Guru Maharaj, we know that he's not those things. And he's our, you know, like Param Guru. We consider him to be our ultimate guru. And Guru Maharaj said, do you think he's just posing? And Goswami Maharaj said, no, I don't think that. But my question is, that we know he isn't that, and we know that he feels that, but he isn't that. But what if you actually are that? What if you actually are more fallen than Jagai and Madai and lower than the worm in stool? What if you actually are that? What if that actually is your position? And Srila Guru Maharaj said, "Oh, are such feelings coming in you?" And he said, "No, Maharaj, but I know who I am, and I know that I am that." And Guru Maharaj said, "Oh, such feelings are coming in you." So, it's about reality. It's not about, any kind of fake humility or anything, but it's about a realization of who we are and what we are. And that's one thing I wanted to say. And the other thing is, when Guru Maharaj gives this example of asking one devotee to say something about his god brother, and he said those that are antagonistic to each other, and that's of course normal in this world. We don't get along with everyone. We don't like everyone, much as we would like to like everyone. We don't get on with everyone, and there are those that kind of just rub us up the wrong way sometimes. But when Srila Saraswati Thakur told his disciple, say something about your friend, he didn't expect a reply that was just something generic or something superficial. He really wanted that devotee to dive deep into the, as Guru Maharaj says, into the bright side of that person, to look deeply at the character of that person, the Vaishnavata of that devotee, and thereby draw that out, and thereby save themselves from the difficulty of Vaishnava aparad. Because whoever that Vaishnava is, big or small, that's not the consideration. The consideration is, if they are a Vaishnava, we should be very careful not to make offense against them. And so to find something real quality of devotion within someone, if we can find that, then we're saved. Then we're very fortunate if we can do that, and not just say something generic. Yeah, he's a great devotee, no, try and find something substantial and sincere within yourself about that devotee, and try to see in all devotees, not just in that particular situation when you're ordered to say something, but we should try to see in all devotees, where is devotion, where is that Vaishnavata? Because there is in every devotee some very wonderful qualities, and we should always mine that, try to find that in them, and try to ignore the apparent side, which is sometimes very prominent. We can see that in ourselves. We can also see that in others, that they have so many faults, we have so many faults, but let's not spend our time fault finding. As Guru Maharaj said, when there's a beautiful flower garden on this side, a flower garden on this side, why are you giving all your concentration to the rubbish heap on the other side? Let's look for beauty. Let's look for devotion. Let's look for the higher things in all the devotees. And this way, we must be benefited. So that's my few things that I wanted to say this evening from that. Those words of Guru Maharaj. And it's something we can all benefit from, meditate on. And now we would like to ask our dear God Sister Saraswati to say a few words. Where is she hiding? I can see you.
Dandava pranams. Prabhu, what can I say? You speak so beautifully and eloquently, like Gurudev said. I mean, what comes to mind really is like we have heard that we have to try to serve. We are servants of the servants of the servants of the servants of the Vaishnavas. So in that way, because the Vaishnavas really are the ones who are guiding us, inspiring us to serve the Lord. In good times and in bad times, we always get some inspiration from them to continue our devotional life. And I remember when I was in Navadvip, Srila Gurudev emphasized and gave me that service to look after the devotees, to look after them, to make sure that they are cared for and they are well and happy and comfortable, and also occupy them in some service. So Srila Gurudev emphasized that very much, and about the devotee care. And like Devashish Prabhu was saying, we don't know who is a real Vaishnava. So we have to be very careful and not thinking that we should just serve that one or that one because of this or because of that, but serve everyone, regardless. Isn't it? Whether it's giving them a cup of water or whatever it may be, driving them to the hospital or anything. It's a service to the Vaishnavas. So, and definitely we try not to commit any offenses to anyone, and even with our mind, because that's also making offense. We can, not only verbally or physically, but also in our mind, we can also think badly about someone, and that's also not good. So, yeah, I think that is what I have seen with our, with our Gurudev, with the devotees who are dedicated. We see the example of service, how they are serving, and how they are serving the Vaishnavas and the devotees. So it's a kind of a reciprocation there, isn't it?
Yes,
So, yeah, we have to try to be affectionate also. Sometimes we might have to affectionately, I don't know, guide someone. I mean, they may think it's a chastisement, but maybe it's, sometimes we have to say when something is not right. It's not because we want to show off or anything like that, but we have to sometimes rectify some bad behavior because we don't tolerate things like that, isn't it? But also we have to accept some chastisement from other Vaishnavas who want to rectify our behavior. So we have to receive that as a blessing and not take offense or not take it too personal. So that's also important, that we are welcoming any chastisement from the Vaishnavas and accept them as a blessing. And we are fortunate to have the company of the Vaishnavas because they are really our true friends, isn't it? Otherwise, we will be lost in this jungle. So, I don't know. I think that's about it, really.
Guy. Yeah, thank you. Very wise words, and we can all benefit from that. And Maharaj, we're going to. We don't want to be false advertisers, so everyone's come because it's the Sadhu Sangha Monday, spiritual Sangha, Vishila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj. So we don't want to be accused of false advertising. So we like to hear something from you, Maharaj.
Well, you put the photo there. I come to London. And actually, yes, I'm happy to say a few words. But also today, noteworthy, we have the undivided attention of Gopal Krishna Prabhu. And he's sitting there with the label SCS Matt West London on him. So I think we should hear something from him. And especially when we've heard how in the time of Srila Prabhupada, so many big savers were done, like opening centers, arranging Ratha Yatra, doing mass book distribution, with devotees who were not even 1 year in the mission. So we old ones may think, oh, someone's been in the mission only 4 or 5 years or whatever. We can ask also to Gopal Krishna how long he's been in the mission. But long enough and with the devotees well long enough to make a few comments on the matter of the Vaishnavas are all in all, but we should feel that we are nothing. Gopal Krishna, a few words kindly. From the heart, not from the mouth.
Krishna Gopal Prabhu, not Gopal Krishna.
That's Maharaj.
Krishna Gopal. Oh, okay.
Dandavat devotees. I just wanted to say that it was very nice that Devashish Prabhu quoted saying that we should think less of ourselves and I mean, sorry, we shouldn't think less of ourselves, but we should think less about ourselves. And I don't know, I found it very nice. Yeah. Was a very, very interesting idea. And especially if you understand it as well, it can help you a lot in your spiritual progress, I think, yeah.
How long have you been a devotee? Please clarify for me. Okay, you're not yet a devotee. When did you first?
Well, I was born into a devotee family, so
Okay.
yes.
They got initiated at 6 by Gurudev.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I got initiated by Gurudev when I was 6, but practicing my devotional life or trying to practice, I started maybe about 2 years ago. So I first joined a temple in Bulgaria, in ISKCON temple. There, stayed there for 3 or 4 months, then traveled around different temples, and by Gurudev's mercy, I'm here serving the devotees here in the temple.
And are you serving devotees or are you serving Krishna?
Devotees. I'm not that high to serve Krishna.
All right, Prabhu. I appreciate your words. We're putting you on the spot, but we're happy to see that you are here with attention. And it's true. I mean, the last few weeks in London has been very busy with all sorts of things taking place, and we are witness to that. All right, so dear devotees, one and all, my obeisances, and really we have an impressive list of Vaishnavas here present with us. And it is the appreciation of Vaishnavas from beginning to end, which is really the important factor. And from Srila Gurudev also we've got quotes, so many songs in the songbooks, and the example of Guru Maharaj, the example of Gurudev, and the example of Srila Prabhupada. We know that Srila Prabhupada, he made non-devotees into devotees and then gave all respect to those persons, and he's always honoring the boys and girls of America and the Western world. And we see that once they're devotees, he is honoring the devotees. And Gurudev and Guru Maharaj giving honor to the Vaishnavas and following the Vaishnava etiquette. And you can say, I mean, really in relation to Srila Guru Maharaj's life and his service and association with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then you can understand that all of the Western devotees, they were, junior very much in that sense. But when we saw his interaction with the Vaishnavas, he was always very respectful. And he never failed when there were sannyasis present at the end of a talk, then he would give jais to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, etc. But he would give jais to the Vaishnavas who were present. And Guru Maharaj, seeing that one is a devotee, doesn't matter if they've been a short time or a long time, but when they're engaged devotionally, then he's giving that respect. And Srila Guru Maharaj gives the example too about our spiritual life, that a room, if we go into an old castle or go into a room that's been sealed up and closed, whether it's been sealed up for a few days or for centuries, once you go in and you light a candle and there's light in the room, then there is light in the room. So this way, when our heart can get enlightened with the Vaishnava conception, whether short time or a long time, but the light has come. And so that light of Vaishnavism being appreciated by the Vaishnavas. And I did select some quotes. I did have some quotes, but also Devashish stole. Not stole, it's his class. Devashish gave also one of my quotes, which I would have given, because that was indeed coming from Srila Guru Maharaj, how the Vaishnavas are all in all. Excuse me. Oh, I do have water. Just one second for one sip, kindly. Ah, Krishna, Krishna. Okay, I have a couple of quotes here. And so first, Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhakti, Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj. He's saying, this is very short, but also one of these statements that kind of jumps out at us, and we think, this is like profound, whatever word we want to say, but so important. And Srila Gurudev, Srila Govinda Maharaj saying, anything other than service to the excuse me, anything other than service to the Vaishnavas is not service to Krishna, but that is karma. So this, we've got a temple full of invisible big posters. Anything other than service to the Vaishnavas is not service to Krishna, but that is karma. So this is a big poster for us. Then Srila Gurudev saying, only service to the Vaishnava is real service to Krishna. And only that can take us out from the illusory environment to the transcendental service world. The only service to the jivas which is actually good. So now this is about doing service to the jivas, to other people, but other living entities. So the only service to the jivas which is actually good is if we can engage them in the service of Guru Vaishnava. Otherwise, serving them will be the cause of not only their bondage, but also my own bondage. Lokoyang karma bandhanaha. And that is, definitely a very solid understanding about the importance of the Vaishnavas. I'll put this in the chat box because you may wish, because I wish to keep to keep it. But how do I put a chat? Everyone in the meeting. Okay. So I put this in the chat box in case you wish to copy it and keep it and think about this. Starting with anything other than service to the Vaishnavas is not service to Krishna, but that is karma. So there's one short quote, and I would like to just give another short quote, and this is Srila Gurudev also, and this is in Revealed Truth. If we see that someone has any of the qualities of a Vaishnava, then we must consider that he is a Vaishnava and give proper honor to him. We can first consider that anyone who leaves the association of other persons and joins in the association or ashram of the Vaishnavas practicing Krishna consciousness has some Vaishnava quality. So someone who leaves regular people and comes to join the temple, they have some Vaishnava quality. And if someone who comes is recognized by Gurudev or an authority, okay, if someone who comes is recognized by Gurudev or an authority as a Vaishnava, then we must consider that he is a Vaishnava. Whenever Gurudev says that someone is a qualified Vaishnava, then we must believe that and surrender to that qualified Vaishnava. Srila Guru Maharaj, just one short paragraph more. Srila Guru Maharaj also explained to us other ways of practically understanding who is a Vaishnava. He gave many examples, such as someone whom the Vaishnavas are happy to see is a Vaishnava. Someone who is happy to see the Vaishnavas is a Vaishnava. Someone who is happy to serve Vaishnavas is a Vaishnava, and so on. There are many varieties of definitions of a Vaishnava. So, knowing that there can be many Vaishnavas around who have those qualities we just heard, then we should be very careful. We should be very careful to do exactly what Srila Gurudev is saying, to serve the Vaishnavas. And by serving the Vaishnavas, then Krishna will be pleased, and that will be proper service to Krishna. And our own position, Trinadapi Sunichena, Taroreva Sahishnuna, Amanina, Manadena, Kirtanya Saraharihi. And in particular, the honor is going to the Vaishnavas. But to honor to all those who are not honorable, they must be given honor. But this way of giving honor to all means we cannot tell who is a Vaishnava. And so when we give honor to all, knowing that Krishna is in their heart, and one day they may be openly a Vaishnava instead of a dormant Vaishnava, if you like, then we will be giving honor everywhere. And our mood will be humility, tolerance, and not wanting any honor for ourselves. And this is expressed in many of the songs of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And the one song which we sing, well, many songs we sing, Oh Hey Vaishnava Thakur, we sing twice a day, not only once a day. And in Kobe Sri Chaitanya More Kori Bena Doya, that is regularly sung in the mat, and Vaishnava Thakur Gana, different kirtans are there, giving all honor to the Vaishnavas and praying for their mercy, even for that we can behave a little properly. That's the grace of the Vaishnavas. And it is from the Vaishnava's heart that Vaishnavism reaches others. Faith comes to others. Devotional heart comes to others. From one candle, another candle is lit. So a candle which is sitting there needs another candle to light it. A candle can't light by itself. And this example has been given about the necessity of the association of the devotees. And if we can get the association of the type of devotees, that if you name Rupa Goswami, then if we think, oh, I wish I was born in the time of Rupa Goswami, we could have met with him. We could have met with Jiva Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami. But bring it into the recent. And we have met with Srila Bhakti Rakha Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, with Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj. And still in the world, there are devotees who have met with Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. So we have met with that caliber of devotee. And Srila Gurudev, very clear about Srila Guru Maharaj. What caliber of Vaishnava is Guru Maharaj? Prominent in the Rupa Nuga Sampradaya. Most prominent, and that presently then will become to be recognized as such for everything that he's done for bringing the Krishna consciousness to the West, for his alive revelations, new way of thinking, and his communication to the whole world through the Western world's language of English, which Guru Maharaj was very expert in, more expert than many of us English people who did indeed have to look up some of the words in a dictionary, like moiety, and even that word, quintessential. Well, maybe that was Sagamaj's word. I'm not sure, quintessential. But moiety means two halves. Moiety and moiety, not murti or deity, but moiety. That word Guru Maharaj using, and Guru Maharaj using other words. And the, oh yes, now I can't think of the word. But anyway, other words that we had to look up. So all of you here, you are Vaishnavas. Please be generous to others. Share your Vaishnava qualities. And if you feel very generous, you could share some with me also, kindly. Hare Krishna. And Ananda Swarupini, she's with us. She's in London. Well, she's not in London. She's in Derby. Is it dark in London? Well, it's dark here. So it must be dark in Derby. Ananda Swarupini, this is a London Zoom or England Zoom. Do you have a word for everyone? Would you like to share something from your side?
Vaishnava Maharaj, Vaishnavas, devotees. Actually, just before I say anything, I just wanted to ask, Devashish Prabhu, where did you read from before?
It's from the Sermons of the Guardian of Devotion, Volume 1.
I haven't read that yet.
It's
Thank
called
you.
the God Sent. The chapter is called The Guardian Ruled Family.
Sermons. Thank you. Lots. Yeah, when I think about all the books to get through, I feel really excited. I haven't read that one yet. I'll have to read that one. And I have nothing substantial to share, but I'm just talking because you asked me too much. So I do have something substantial to share, because I want to say it was really, as probably everyone knows, but we had Madhusudan Maharaj recently with us in London, and it was really, really wonderful and inspiring. To have you with us, Maharaj. A big, huge devotee gatherings, festivals, and I suppose that's always the case. And coming from this kind of, I spend a lot of time in this small little Derby now, and then it's like, because I used to go to the temple nearly every day for quite years, and then it's like the difference is even more notable when I've been away for so. Yeah, I know there's Zooms and YouTube, and it's wonderful, it's great, but it's just such a notable difference. Like being back with the Vaishnavas, like in person, attempting to serve, it's like a big recharge and refreshing, like that kind of reminder of how much is needed and how life-giving it is, and this is like actually what we're trying to live for. So kind of an even bigger sense of gratitude and stuff like that when you feel like you've been starved from it. That's what I have to say.
And yes, to be with the Vaishnavas, and when we're with the Vaishnavas, what do? We chant Harinam Sankirtan. We chant the holy name of the Lord congregationally. And in this way, then we are engaging in what we're meant to do in Kali Yuga. Harinam Sankirtan. Hare Krishna. Govinda, Govinda. Yes, any question from anybody? Any question from anyone? I saw there's a question from Scarlett, but I think she's got her answers already. All right. Well, one thing about Navadip Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math, It is a place, and it is the place where, okay, West London raised their hand, 1 second. It is the place where the teachings of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur were exemplarily, perfectly presented by Srila Guru Maharaj in a practical way, not only to explain the ontology, another word that I had to look up, by the way, in the early days, not only about the ontology and the science and the theory, but about the practice of Krishna consciousness. And everything in the mat was indeed focused on the honor and service of the Vaishnavas. As Saraswati Devi pointed out, that was Gurudev's first concern when any visitors will come. That any visitors means any devotees will come. That they'll be properly looked after, not neglected. They will have their necessities, and as far as possible, will make their life comfortable or tolerable, so that they can engage in service. And that was the main thing. Anybody coming to the mat for more than like 3 or 4 days, a short visit, it's a short visit. But coming for anything longer than that, then Srila Gurudev is certainly expecting that they will engage in service. And thereby in the mat, everybody is engaging in the central service, and that harmony, that harmonious flow, this is the little window into Goloka Vrindavan. It's a window into the upper world, and it's only through service that we can enter into Goloka Vrindavan. We've been reading, and still are reading, Brahma Sanhita in the mornings here in Vila Govinda Ashram. And it is very clear, there is no other way, no other way than service to come to Goloka Vrindavan. The whole of this material universe, it is here for those who still have some enjoying tendency, wanting to serve themselves or get some reward for their service, doing something for a reward. But above that, on the other side, is the plane of seva, and the plane of seva that's being presented to us, the seeds of that kind of seva, that kind of bhakti that have been planted by Mahaprabhu and the Sampradaya, is that loving, sweet, spontaneous devotion in Goloka Vrindavan. So we need to cultivate those seeds very nicely and very carefully. And a question came here from Govinda Nandini Didi in Moscow. And what is the difference between a devotee and a practitioner? Please accept my respects. Sorry, I can't turn on the video. Oh, it's all right, no problem. Well, we are all practitioner devotees. How about that one? But of course, we've got the gradation of devotion and devotees. We've got the gradation of gurus, of teachers. There's gradation everywhere. But when we have some recognition of what is devotional life, and we are not only recognizing it, but practicing it, then we are practicing to be devotees. And somebody did ask, oh, but I'm offering my food, but how do I know if Krishna accepts it? Well, we don't have to worry about that. We are doing our part. We are offering Krishna our food. And Bhagavad Gita, Krishna repeatedly saying, we need to do our duty, but not to be attached to the result. And whether Krishna actually eats it or not, we have first of all his word that if you do offer him with love, he will accept it. But even if we actually find out, oh, I'm offering, but he's not actually accepting it, then still we are offering to the Lord. And this is our duty, and we should be cooking for his satisfaction. And one day, when we are able to cook and make something very nice for his satisfaction, we may get a surprise and get that confirmation that, okay, the Lord really is taking our offerings. But whether he accepts or not, still it is prasadam, because it is cooked for the Lord. And so very similar with all of our activities. We may be practicing to be a devotee, but practicing to be a devotee means devotion. And of course, the pure devotees, they are doing 100% pure practice. And we are beginning, we are starting out, we're practicing, we're being taught how to do this and that. But still, we may find out we've been doing some things wrong for years, and you might be surprised to find that out after some years. We still find we've been doing some things wrong for years, but we still know that we're trying to do the right thing, and that Krishna, he's happy with that attempt. And that includes the attempt to chant the holy names of the Lord. So everything we do in this world, we should try to be chanting. We should try to keep that going in our mind continuously. So even when you sneeze in public, you're going, oh, you're going Krishna, and then everyone's looking at you. Well, doesn't matter. By habit, if we get into the habit of doing things like this, then when we're in public and we forget we're in public and we, oh, Krishna, then everyone turns around. Doesn't matter. Better to have such a habit than so many other habits, right? So our attempt to chant the name of the Lord, it's being glorified. The attempt to chant the Lord's name is glorified so much. In the Skanda Purana, there's that quote which says about giving 10 million cows on a solar eclipse, giving mountains of, a mountain of gold, like a Sumeru mountain of gold, and so many like pious activities. Doing that hundreds of times doesn't equal at all the slightest attempt to chant the name of Govinda. That shloka is in the Harinam book. When you receive initiation, then that booklet Srila Gurudev would give, and that booklet also we give. We like to give that booklet so that you can see the similar that Srila Gurudev gave, then also verses which are for much encouragement for us. So we will try, and again, it's not for trying to get a reward. That trying to chant Govinda's name, Krishna's name, it is purely as a devotional service. We've been asked to chant. We've been asked to chant with focus, with no namabhas. We've been asked to chant, to learn the 10 offenses and avoid them. And we will try to do that. So we are practitioner devotees. And 1%, 5%, 10%, 90%, 99%. But we do know some who are 200% and more. That we are very happy to know. Okay, Praneshwari. Okay. Oh, she's passing on a question from Dayal Nitai Prabhu. I think Devashish Prabhu, I think you got your throat back. I've been chatting away and would be very happy to hear a Devashish answer to this one. Dayal Nitai Prabhu is asking, it is said that surrender to Guru Krishna, or to Guru/Krishna, is real freedom. Yes. How is this so? Do it and find out. Okay, that's my answer. Devashish.
Yeah. Well, where do we begin? Because the jiva has freedom, already is endowed with freedom. Guru Maharaj explains that the difference between matter and spirit is free will. Without free will, the jiva is just matter, or anything without free will is matter. So, in other words, Krishna could compel us to serve him, but that wouldn't be satisfactory to him, because we would just be Hare Krishna robots, just doing whatever we're told to serve Krishna, without any feeling, just like robots. But Krishna doesn't want that, so he gives us free will, and we can exercise that free will in the right way or in the wrong way. And we can say more or less, not more or less, 100%, all of us here in this material world, we made the choice to exercise our freedom in the wrong way. So Guru Maharaj also explains that although the jiva has free will, it's also minute. The free will is minute. It's not like we have absolute freedom to do absolutely anything that we want to do. We have just this one freedom. We are free to serve Krishna, or we are free to serve Maya. That's basically what it boils down to. If you're not serving Krishna, then you're a slave of Maya. A slave of Maya means that you're just controlled by the material nature. So we're thinking that we're free, that we have liberty, that we can do whatever we want, we can go wherever we want, but this is a trick of Maya. This is actually the perfect prison, is when the prisoners don't even realize that they're in prison. And that's the material world. It's a perfect prison for us rebellious jivas that didn't want to serve Krishna. But Krishna's so kind that he doesn't just abandon us here, like lock the door and throw away the key. He himself comes to give us another chance, if you like, reawaken our prospects for his service. He comes himself, he sends his devotees to bring us back to that. And so we actually, when we come to that realization that we are actually meant for him, and that it's not that he's there to supply us with all of our desires, but rather we have some integral part to play in his service and his satisfaction. When we understand that, that's the beginning of the path to our redemption. And so when we surrender to Guru and Krishna, if you like, as Prabhu Dan Thakur said, to surrender to Guru and Krishna gives us absolute freedom, because who knows Krishna, he knows everything. And who has Krishna, he has everything. So Guru Maharaj said, this sounds like a madman's proposal, but this is actually what we propose. This is actually what we're advocating, that if you get Krishna, you've got everything. And if you know Krishna, you know everything. And so Guru Maharaj uses the example, Srila Govinda Maharaj used, it's an example that's been used many times. It's not very politically correct anymore, we know that, but the example's still valid, is that if a poor girl who has no prospect living in a village or something, if she's able to marry a prince, then automatically she gets everything. She gets the command of everything. She gets the command of his kingdom. She gets a full access to all of his wealth, to everything, by that connection. So similarly, by giving ourselves to Krishna, we get access to everything, to all of Krishna's property, all of Krishna's facility, all of everything. But we are not thinking to utilize that for our own self, only for the service of Krishna. But it means that those who are the real devotees of Krishna, the real sold out devotees of Krishna, they have complete freedom to utilize Krishna's energy in any way that they see fit, because their their inspiration is love for Krishna. So naturally, every facility comes to them and they're able to utilize that properly in the service of Krishna. So in that way, ultimate freedom is afforded to the real devotees of Krishna. Although we shouldn't be under any illusion, the word das or the word dasi actually means slave. That's the real meaning. We say servant or servitor or like that, but the actual meaning is slave, and to be a slave of Krishna. So we're a little, we draw back when we hear that word slave, the concept of like being a slave, slavery, an abhorrent thing in this material world. But we all know, you know, there's so many songs that say, I want to be the slave of love. I want to be the slave of love. If it feels this good being used, then use me till you use me up. That's one song, right? So then everyone's happy with that, to be a slave to love. And what that means in this material world means a slave to lust, ultimately. But the principle we can understand, that if you're a slave to love, no problem at all. And Krishna is all love. Krishna is the all love, all beauty, all charm, all goodness. Everything wonderful is Krishna. So in this material world, they say, you know, ultimate power means, you know, ultimate corruption, or, you know, ultimate power corrupts absolutely. But in the case of Krishna, who is the supreme absolute, then there's no question of that, because there's not even one iota of maliciousness in his nature. Only goodness, only love, only beauty, kindness, sympathy, harmony, all of these things. And whatever connection you have with Krishna must be all good. So to be a slave to Krishna means to have the ultimate freedom. The ultimate freedom, everything, every resource is at your disposal. It's saying, even, you know, the 8 mystic cities, they come before you with folded palms. How can I serve you? When those who are fully surrendered to Krishna, they have access to everything. So there's no question of any struggle once one has come to that stage. Of course, as practitioner devotees, there's some struggle will be there, you know, in the transition between this material life and the spiritual life proper. But Srila Guru Maharaj says, maybe sometimes a little painful sadhana bhakti, but underlying that is the prospect of something wonderful, something beautiful. That real freedom is the underlying prospect of our service life with Krishna. And service life with Krishna means service to the Vaishnava, ultimately. So I think I hope that's the answer to Prabhu's question.
Sounds wonderful, Prabhu. We are nourished through our ears. The slave of divine love. Hare Krishna. Yes, Devashish Prabhu. Are you satisfied?
Yes, Maharaj. So we've run over time a little bit, but I don't think anyone minds. So.
And today I've discovered who is the fly on the wall. Priya Krishna. I always wondered who that was.
Oh, is that someone's ID?
Yes, yes. Hare Krishna. And we've already discovered, I think, all devotees who are here present with us and very happily having your association. So yes, Devashish Prabhu, at your service and at all the Vaishnava service, I hand the microphone to you, Prabhu, to sign us out or sign us continuing.
Yes, Maharaj, continuing, always continuing. Jam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Jam Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakrak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur ki jai. Rupanuga Guru Bhagya ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Vrinda ki jai, Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj ki jai, all the assembled devotees, all the world devotees ki jai, Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandali ki jai, Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki jai, Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Jai Shripad Devashish Prabhu ki jai, all the London Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, and Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you very much.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuvi Atitana Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namaha. Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. Oh yes, Govinda, Govinda, Govinda. We'll keep practicing.
Very good.
All right. Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari.
Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Ashchi.